Hey, it's Austin here. How you doing? Boy, it sure has been an awful long time since I last put out a video here on YouTube. It's been going on 6 years now. Wow, it's just amazing how time just zooms by so quickly, ain't it? But anyway, as you know, I'm a big music fan, and I literally have what seems to be millions of CDs and millions of cassette tapes, and I'm hoping to start up a very large collection of vinyl records. I have some vinyl records here. This is all I've got so far, but I'm gonna start going on eBay and Amazon and buying vinyl records, and I think that vinyl is starting to make a comeback, so I'm definitely happy about that. But this year, 2018, actually marks the 40th anniversary of the debut album by a band, an American rock band that's going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. Now, I haven't always been really that familiar with that group at all. I was only not too long ago just familiar with that group because of a couple of songs that they put out. And I'll talk about those songs later on in this video, but last year I believe I subscribed to Apple Music. And while I was at work last year, through Apple Music, I listened to I listened to the debut album of this group that's going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. It came out in 1978. Again, this year marks the 40th anniversary of that debut album. And when I listened to that album for the very first time, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull it out right now because I got it in the mail today. It's a vinyl record, and again, I'm starting up a vinyl collection, but here it is right here, the debut album by The Cars. And when I listened to this album last year at work through Apple Music, I gotta be honest with you, I got the exact same impression that I got when I listened to the debut album, well, not the debut album, but the album Hotel California by the Eagles. And I thought to myself, wow, it just totally blew me away how really good of a debut album the Cars put out in 1978. If you were in a record store that year when this album first came out, obviously it would have caught your attention immediately because of the album cover. The album cover features a Russian model named Natalia Medvedeva, I believe that's her name. I really hope I'm getting her last name right. And it features her behind a steering wheel driving a car, I believe, with the wind blowing her hair back, and she's got this big old smile on her face, and so because of this album cover features a really nice looking woman on the cover, because this album cover features a really nice looking woman, of course, if you were in a record store back in 1978, you would have automatically noticed it. But when you listen to the album, sure, the album is filled with a bunch of upbeat, radio-friendly rock songs, but still, it's just an amazing debut album. I mean, the album starts off with the song "Good Times Roll." That's a really great song. "My Best Friend's Girl," and then there's "Just What I Needed," and I would say that has to be my favorite song on this album. Oh, caustic. And most of this, most of the songs on this album was written by Rick Ocasek. I really hope I'm getting his name right, Rick Ocasek. And he's just a great songwriter. I mean, these are just some really great songs this album. This is just a really amazing debut album here. And then these other songs like "I'm in Touch with Your World," "Don't You Stop," um, "You're All I've Got Tonight," "Bye Bye Love," "Moving in Stereo," and the ninth and final track on this album, "All Mixed Up." It's just one great song after another. And again, this album is filled with a bunch of radio-friendly, upbeat rock songs, but still, it's just one of the best, one of the most amazing debut albums I've ever listened to in my whole entire life. This album was actually ranked number 284 on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. I believe Rolling Stone came out with that list back in 2003, and it deserves its place on that list because it is one of the great albums of all time. It is one of the great debut albums of all time, and whether it was their even if this wasn't their debut album, even if this was their third album or their final album that they released before they broke up, you know, it wouldn't have mattered because it's still a great album. It's still a very promising album, and the Cars were definitely one of the most promising, one of the most talented groups in music history. I mean, in 1978, there's no question about that. In 1978, at the heyday of disco music, and when you have punk rock, um, you know, this clearly was a far cry from any of that music at all. But still, this is great music right here. And the Cars clearly were different from the Bee Gees, and different from the Sex Pistols, and you know groups that are really big in that decade in the 1970s, but still they were among the most promising groups of that decade, one of the most promising new groups of that decade. And I'm really glad to own this album. It came in the mail. I ordered it off of eBay. It came in the mail today. I only had to pay $9 for it, and it's got a picture of the group on the back of it. And I only had to pay $9 for it, but still, it's a great purchase, and I'm really glad to add it to my collection of vinyl records. I hope to have a big collection by the end of the year, and I hope to do more videos about the vinyl records I have here, and I hope to do other videos about the vinyl records I have here. And I've got what seems to be millions of CDs and cassette tapes here at my place, so I hope to do some videos about the other music that I have in my collection. But still, again, this is one of the best debut albums of all time. If you never have heard of the Cars before, buy their albums, listen to their music, you won't be disappointed at all. I can promise you that. When I listened to this album, I got the same impression I got when I listened to Hotel California by the Eagles for the very first time. Just totally blew me away. I was just totally blown away by the great songs in this album and how promising this group really was when they released this record back in 1978. And they're going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year, along with Bon Jovi and I think some other groups or other singers, and they definitely deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They really do. And those songs that I was talking about earlier that I was familiar with, that was released by the Cars. I'm talking about songs like Drive and, of course, You Might Think. And they released that song, You Might Think, in 1984, I believe, and the music video for that song is very, it's kind of cartoony, but it's still one of the great music videos of all time. I think it won an award, I believe, and sadly, it wasn't that long ago that I was only familiar with the Cars because of those songs, You Might Think and Drive. And, because of that music video for that song, You Might Think, which is one of the greatest, one of the most awesome music videos of all time, one of the most awesome videos ever shown on, MTV. And sadly, I wasn't always familiar with this great group, but thanks to Apple Music, I get access to over 40 million songs, and I'm starting to get familiar with some of these great albums that came out before I was born. And this album came out in 1978 again. That was 2 years before I was born, and I'm really glad to have a copy. I'm really glad to have a vinyl copy of this record. I'm really glad to have it among my record collection. I hope that will be way bigger before the year is out. So, thank you for tuning in to this video. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Leave your comments if you like. And if you haven't discovered this band before, listen to their music. You won't be disappointed at all. I promise you that. Okay? Thank you so much for tuning in again, and goodbye. Peace out.